Okay, so we are gonna do a front-end application with Blazor. This is the latest, one of the latest Microsoft technologies. The code from C# gets transpiled. Notice this, transpiled, not translated, but transpiled from one language, high-level language, which is C#, gets translated, transpiled to a WebAssembly. WebAssembly, they claim, is 5 times faster than JavaScript on the front end. So let's read and let's do it. This tutorial shows you how to build and modify a Blazor application. You learn how to create a to-do list Blazor application project, modify Razer components, use event handling and data handling in components, use routing in Blazor application. More than enough. Okay, create to-do list Blazor. Okay. We can use .NET Code or
Okay, so we're
.get.
gonna use the PowerShell.
Yeah,
PowerShell.
PowerShell. Maybe it's with .NET Code. I don't know. Visual Studio Code. I'm not
Oh
quite
yeah,
sure.
maybe because it's doing .NET.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter actually. You can create such application with Visual Studio Prime as well, so it's not a problem. Let's do it with.
Can you see it now? The
Yeah,
my.
no, I see it perfectly. Don't you worry
Yeah.
about it.
So I'm gonna go to the.
Perfect right now. I know it's a little bit inconvenient to work on small resolution, but it's the record is better.
Yeah. I'm just gonna
Okay,
make a folder.
yeah, make a folder. Okay, so our contribution actually is gonna be a video about this tutorial. That's it. Okay, .NET Blazor. Okay, we can discuss some concepts if you like. So
Yep.
you have .NET Blazor server to-do list. Do you remember .NET space new minus H to get a help about
Okay.
the project
.NET
templates?
yeah. .NET help.
No. .NET new minus minus
Oh
help.
yeah. I remember now. .NET. Oh, what?
Ah, that's something
Okay,
that
that's the
surprises
template.
me. Uh,
List templates is minus list.
maybe, yeah.
No,
No,
.NET.
new maybe.
So,
Ah, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so look now, Blazor. There are two type of applications, Blazor server and Blazor assembly. So I would love to have the Blazor assembly because everything happens on the front end. With Blazor server, they open sockets. The browser, the client, and the server, they open socket and they connect to each other. So let's say you click on your browser over the button. A signal gets sent to the server. The request is processed on the server, and a result is sent back to the browser, which is not clear front end because the server is still involved. Is that clear?
yeah.
Okay. Blazor WebAssembly, which is the second template, everything happens on the front end. Everything happens on the front end. Okay, let's do this tutorial. Maybe we will do another one. Let's see what this tutorial is. Probably it's for server,
Yeah, it's
judging
for
by the
server.
name.
It's for server
Yeah,
because
so it's a not pure front end, but it is in a way a front end because still needs a server, but pretends that everything happens on the front end. Okay. Uh, First, this is the technology they created, Microsoft, and after that they added the WebAssembly. But this is the future of the applications, not only the web applications, everything. So let's continue with the tutorial. Let's
okay.
see what do we
So
have.
setting commands create a folder name to the list, which is fine. Now we're gonna do to the list. Oh,
Okay.
this.
copy this, change directory. Why you are in ToDo already?
Yeah, you see, uh, they make up to-do list. Now they
Blazor
do,
server with Blazor server template.
yeah, now they're doing new Razer component.
This is as a controller. This is like a controller, but it's called a component. So do you understand that?
Oh yeah, yeah, they just, yeah.
Now, with the Visual Studio Prime, when you click with the right mouse button, you can say, for example, you can invoke the code generator, which is gonna create for you the controller. And this is their way to do it here in Blazor in
So
.NET.
Razer component is a like
Like a controller. You
control.
can think of it like a controller, but the component is something different. The component is an element from the web page. For example, a component could be a picture with a caption. Another component could be, for example, a carousel. Have you seen a
Yeah.
carousel? Yes, you have seen.
Yes, yes.
Or maybe a drop-down list.
Yeah, I
So
see.
each these things, this component, there's a called components in Razer. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so do it. Uh, I'm just asking myself, why do you have it in repos to do and after that to do list?
Because they make that folder to-do list.
No, no, they made a to-do list, but why in your computer you put it the project in to do? This
I've
is what.
make that I've make that folder.
So all your projects are in to do, right?
No, all my projects are in repos, but because I didn't read the code that they're gonna make a new folder, I was thinking we're gonna make the
Ah,
project
yeah,
straight
guys.
away. That's why I make this folder to do. But then we create a
Yeah, I
folder.
see. Okay,
So
let's
yeah.
continue. Let's continue.
Okay. So here we are the component. Now the end name option in the preceding command specifies the name of the new Razer component. The new component is created in the project pages folder with output option. And then they say Razer component found names require a capitalized first letter. Open the pages folder and confirm that to the component file start.
Okay, go back to the just open with code, a code space dot in
Yeah.
Visual Studio Code.
Okay, I'm gonna
So,
just
mhm.
go back and code.
um, yeah, could be like that.
Now in pages.
I think you should go to to-do list and open
Maybe
it from
that's
to-do list.
it's same for me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that when you press Control 5, it's gonna work. It's gonna
Mm,
launch it. I don't know.
let's try.
Let's try and see what's happening. Here we go. Works. Perfect. So you don't have to change anything.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because I'm in a project folder now, not in the. I understand where you're coming from. So this is the page which we have, and we actually have it.
Mm-hmm. Does it look familiar to you? It's a Razer. It's a
Yeah.
Razer syntax. But look
And
now, the page is divided on two. The first part, which you have right now only on line 1, is the pure HTML. Pure HTML, nothing else. And from line 3 to line 5, you have the actual code. So in other Razer pages, not Razer pages, but Blazor projects, these two can be divided. You can still leave the HTML code in one file, and the code you can have in a CS code. And we'll see
oh,
probably this during the tutorial. Right now,
so
the code which takes care of the HTML page is together with the HTML.
all
This
right.
is this is how it can be organized. Imagine the controller and the view in one file. That's it. This is what I want to say.
So yeah, I understand.
Okay.
So here, yeah, yeah, we divide it on two, the pure HTML and the code, and everything we can put in between these lines, it's getting transcripted to HTML. later on.
No, actually,
Can you put the business logic here?
yeah, you put the business logic. Exactly. This is what it is. Instead of having a separate file, which is absolutely possible in Blazor, you can separate this file. You can copy this code, put it in a separate file, which is called todo.cs, and you can have this code there in the
As a
CS file
controller.
as
As
a
a
controller.
controller.
Exactly. Or you have the
All
choice.
right. I understand. Instead of generating view from controllers to return view, you have that controller into the Razer page.
Exactly. Something like that. You
Yeah,
can
and,
think
and you write everything in one
in one
page.
file. Exactly.
Yeah,
In one file.
I understand. But
Because
how
the yeah,
how this HTML then communicate with this code?
you will see. You will see very
Okay,
soon. Just follow
okay.
the tutorial.
All right, let's
Mm-hmm.
follow the
Mm-hmm.
tutorial. So add to the component to the navigation bar. The save pages. Add the component to the navigation bar. The nav menu component is used in the app's layout. Layouts are components that allow you to avoid duplication of content in the app. The nav link component provides a queue in the app's UI when the component's URL is loaded by the application. In the unordered list UL of the nav menu components, add the following list item and nav link components for the to-do component. Yeah,
You have
that's what.
something like a layout. You understand
Yeah,
that, which is
yeah,
common for all the pages. So you have to add this page to
yeah. This is
the to
gonna
this
be
layout.
shared.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, it looks similar. It looks already familiar, right?
Yeah, that's what we've done for our library management.
MVC. Yeah, you did it for
Yeah,
MVC, right? So as you can see, Blazor is very, very similar. That's why probably you have to push in this direction. It's a pretty new technology, but everything is very similar, so it's gonna be
maybe
easier for you.
you may be driven by the common logic you have from before,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Yeah.
So after the class, we put a list. Now, flex column, yes, flex column, and now we can put the next.
Um.
No, or a bit.
Uh. I don't think. Listen, this nav link,
Yeah.
this nav link actually, it's not a standard HTML element, right? There is
Yeah.
no nav in HTML, but right
But
now,
you're writing it in the HTML part of the
nav link.
Razer
Yeah, let me look at.
because here is the code, and you're above.
Yeah, we are above. We are above. Okay, I think that's okay. I think
This
that's
is
okay.
adding just a simple button, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We can always try if this is working actually.
Yeah, try it and you will see that it works. Here we
Here it
go.
is.
To do. Okay. Sorry, there is nothing at this address. Look at the URL as well. You see that the URL also looks like a URL for MVC, right?
Yes, correct, correct.
Hmm. So the elements are not a separate pages. As you can see on the left-hand side, this to-do list is not refreshed. The blue part is not refreshed at all. Actually, the communication between there is no communication between the server and the browser. It shouldn't be. How to say that actually?
You
Uh,
mean is asynchronized communication between the
exactly.
server
It's
and
asynchronous
that,
communication.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so go
without
back.
needing
Yeah,
refreshing.
let's continue with the tutorial.
Okay, let me just close that one.
Mhm.
We're not gonna need it. So we've done it. Save it. Build and run the app by executing .NET Watch
We
Run.
already did it.
That already lived up running in the command shell each time a
Yeah,
file is
you can run it with
it's
.NET Watch.
automatically rebuilt. The browser temporarily. Yeah, this is simulating a real. server situation, isn't it?
Actually,
Oh,
it's
you mean that's where you work on the code. You can actually see the results straight away.
immediately without
Okay.
running it again.
Shall we do that in the touch mode or?
Yeah, why not? Try it. .NET Watch space run and
This is not in. Can we do like D minus D or we can't? So, or I
you
have
have
to
to do
open
it. You
another,
have to do it in the folder of the project.
so another PowerShell.
Yeah, you can. No, here you cannot do -D like in Linux. I know what you mean.
Ah, right. Okay. So I have to open another PowerShell just in case I'm gonna need.
And this one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
You can do it from a second PowerShell. You can do it from the Visual Studio Code. Mhm. Okay. Here we go. Now, if you make changes into your code, you'll
let's
see
say I'm gonna
immediate the results.
comment. I'm gonna comment this line, which I just put.
Mhm.
Uh,
Control KC.
same. Here.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
No.
Save it.
Oh,
Go back. You will see immediate
when I
results.
save it, yeah.
Here we go. It
Oh,
disappeared.
something else. The wrong one. Yeah.
No, no, it's okay.
Now it was Control K and Control U.
You. Exactly. Save it. Go back. You'll see it's gonna show up.
Here it is.
Yeah. Perfect.
Here we go.
And this is the front end development. As you can see, when you make changes, you don't have to close it now. Yeah, let's continue with
Yeah.
the tutorial.
Okay. So add to do item
I
CS.
just want to say something before we continue. So, uh, Angular, React, Vue, Vue, actually, these frameworks are similar to Blazor. Blazor is competitor to all these frameworks. Blazor doesn't use JavaScript. The rest of the frameworks are using JavaScript. But this is the technology, the first Microsoft technology, which, as you can see, still is using C# for front-end development. So it's a competitor to JavaScript as well. So this is
Okay.
very important.
And I just want to ask something, which
Yeah,
say Angular. By Angular, are you gonna use? Is it matter what language you're gonna use on the backend with?
no, no. Neither with Blazor, Angular, React, Vue, it doesn't matter which language do you use on the backend.
So
Simple, this front-end applications are communicating with the APIs, which can be written on Python, C Sharp, you name it, Java, you name it. So
So on our application actually is funny, but we still can use JavaScript and Angular and
absolutely, yes,
all the frameworks. We
absolutely.
still we still can use it, and we can benefit from C Sharp as well.
Um,
It
yes, yes,
from Blazor in that situation.
yes, yes. You still can use the JavaScript applications and continue writing with Blazor, which is just amazing.
Yeah, because you can use the bot technologies and
Yeah, you
can
can.
benefit
I
from the
have
bot
seen that.
technology at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, I have seen that, but the people don't do that actually. They use Blazor because otherwise it's redundant. Uh, you do the same thing with JavaScript, which it can be done with C Sharp while you're
Actually,
using. Yeah.
yeah, I think they don't have. So they don't have actually JavaScript here.
Um, to be honest, when you when you deploy the application, what happens is this because listen, the browser cannot work with C Sharp.
Yeah.
The browser has a JavaScript engine, for example, V8. Chrome has a JavaScript engine V8, which is called V8. So it's an interpreter and it does just-in-time compiling the JavaScript on JavaScript, as far as I remember. But this is something which is not that important. The most important thing is that the interpreter in the browser of the client actually interprets the JavaScript and executes the business logic, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, in this case, with C Sharp, the interpreter, there is no interpreter for C Sharp on the browser. How the magic happens in this case? In this case, when we use this template, this is how the magic happens. You still have a little bit JavaScript, which you don't see in this case. A little bit JavaScript, which purpose is just to open a pipeline, I could call it, but it's a socket. It opens socket between a code which is running on a special server, on the server, and the code on the browser. So when something needs to be executed, in this case, the message gets sent to the server. The server executes whatever needs to be executed, and the result comes back to the browser. So it's not pure front-end development. In other words, if you don't have internet, that means that it's not going to work. There are advantages and disadvantages in this approach, and right now I cannot think about them, but I have covered this in a separate tutorial. But do you understand that?
Yep. Yeah.
When you work with pure JavaScript like React, Angular, pure JavaScript, or you name it, JavaScript technologies, you don't need an internet connection because there is no communication to the server. But this is valid only for this template, which is called Blazorserver, right? So this is one way to work with Blazor. But there is a second way, second template, which is called Blazor WebAssembly. So in this case, how the things are happening. This is not our case. Right now we are working with Blazorserver, right?
Yes.
You understand that? But
Yeah.
now Blazor has a second template, which has been created later, which allows you to do exactly what JavaScript does, how it works. Okay, so you don't even need the JavaScript anymore. A socket is not open between any server and your browser. What happens is this: your code, your C# code, gets transpiled to WebAssembly, which is not JavaScript, is a different code. This WebAssembly actually gets executed on the browser. Every browser,
Like JavaScript,
but not using the JavaScript engine. It's using something else, which is called WebAssembly. And they claim that it's 5 times faster than the JavaScript interpreter.
Yeah, but they still have to prove that technology. I mean, because if in that industry, maybe JavaScript have been too long. Everyone used to hate JavaScript, but everyone is using it because they don't have another option. So
Exactly.
maybe now when they have that option, they're gonna start using it. But
Hopefully.
they are too many applications at the minute which have to be maintained with
Exactly.
JavaScript.
What they claim and what is the reality are two different things, because JavaScript, maybe some people hate it, other people love it. You know that. So the haters and lovers, they're big fans of JavaScript. I'm one of the fans of the JavaScript, by the way.
It's
But
like Trump at the moment.
yeah, like the Trump in the moment. The same with WebAssembly. WebAssembly, as probably the name suggests, is much more difficult to learn, much more difficult to implement than JavaScript. So yes, the browser understands JavaScript and WebAssembly, but the people still prefer to use JavaScript. But
Because it's familiar to them.
yeah, it's more familiar, much more easy to learn. The best is probably for you to learn WebAssembly, to write WebAssembly, but it's really like assembly language, which is not very human friendly.
Yeah.
But if you can write WebAssembly, you will be on the seventh heaven. I have seen such people. Which are writing directly in WebAssembly. So right now, Microsoft is trying to fill this gap. They say, okay, write instead of WebAssembly, write on C#. We're gonna transpile this which is translating from one high-level language, which is C#, to another high-level language, which is WebAssembly. And after that, this WebAssembly gets executed on the browser. Do you understand?
Yes.
So if you're perfect, if you're guru, you can write directly on WebAssembly. But Microsoft is offering right now a very interesting technology, which gives us the way to work with WebAssembly. That's why the template is called WebAssembly. So this is for me the most interesting part of Blazor, WebAssembly, because right now this tutorial which we are doing is Blazorserver. There is no WebAssembly involved. There is no JavaScript, no WebAssembly. Hiddenly, they hide that from you. Everything happens on the server, so you still need a server. So this, I think, it's disadvantage. So you cannot work offline. But with WebAssembly, you can work offline. But let me tell you something. You won't see the difference between Blazorserver and Blazor WebAssembly. For you, as a developer, you develop the application the very same way. And what happens behind the scene for you is absolutely hidden. Do you understand that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if we create a WebAssembly template and if we create another application, you won't see any difference. For the client also, you won't see any difference. The only difference is that you know that right now, instead the application to be executed on the browser, it gets executed on the server, and the server returns the result when you use Blazorserver.
And the socket is actually opened by JavaScript. They use
Yeah,
JavaScript.
the socket is opened by JavaScript because there is no other way to open it.
I understand that.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's continue now. This is very
Okay.
important.
Yeah, that's a good.
The-
I mean, it's even more important than tutorial
yeah, it's much
himself.
more important than the story. And you see here, we create a model. Don't expect to see something else in the technologies. You always will have a model.
Yep. So new file.
Did you create the folder? Did you create the folder model?
They say add to do item to the root of the
Okay.
project.
They don't even create the
Yeah, they
folder.
don't want that model.
But usually you create it in a model. Okay, so let's create it here because it's
Good
very simple
architecture.
application.
Yeah.
Mhm. They just want to prove their point that this
So this
works.
is just get a, this is just simple class which are gonna collect title and if it's done. That's
That
it.
exactly, nothing special.
Much simpler than the library management program.
Hmm.
Return to the to-do component and perform the following task. Add a field for the to-do item in the code block. The to-do component uses the field to maintain the state of the to-do list. Add an order list markup and for each loop to render each to-do item as an item. So in Pages to-do Razer we have to do that.
Okay, so this is gonna render the HTML. So this you can think of like you can put this on line 2.
So yeah, this is the
This
HTML.
is the
on-
HTML, exactly. This is the Razer. Hit enter.
And
And the
how they
second,
communicate now. Uh, that's what I don't understand. Because algorithmically, this is going line by line, isn't it? Or I'm wrong
yes,
here.
yes, 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 yes. But now you will see the changes in the code and you will understand.
Oh yeah, I see.
Here it is. Think about this on line 10. Think about like class to do. Accepted. Think about it as a class definition, right? And this is what? This is a field into the class. From line 10 to the end, this is a
Yeah.
class. It could be in a separate file. Right now I can ask you to cut this, put it in a file which is called todo.cs, and define a new class which is called todo class. Let's do it if you like. So, but let's not do it. Okay, keep it as
Oh,
it is. Do you understand right now?
Well, can I explain it my way of
Yeah, explain
understanding?
it your way.
So we can. This is like a different class,
Exactly. This is a class. Think about it
and
like a class.
but
Controller.
when what I don't understand is because when we're on that to do page, when we click on to the page, the view is generated here. No,
Yes,
this is the view
exactly.
actually. This is the view.
Yeah, this is the view. Exactly. This is the view.
Also, they instead of making two files doing view and controller,
They have
they
both of them.
they make just one file and they separate it inside the page.
Exactly. Exactly.
But how this page communicate with the code here? Because that's interactive. I mean, I'm pressing button somewhere which is straight into the view, and then oh no, it's going first here, and then it's going to the yeah.
Okay, look on
I
line
understand.
4. Look on 5 or on line 4.
Mhm.
What do you have on line 4? It's a loop,
For
right?
yeah, which is displaying our uh, to do title only.
Exactly. 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 So think about what do you have? How do you communicate between the controller and the
Oh,
view?
right. Okay, I understand now. So the class which we've done before, which is to just it's gone somewhere. So this is where we take the. Okay, let me explain myself a bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've just make this class. Yeah.
Okay. This is an
So
entity. That's it. A model. A simple model.
this is a model, yes.
Yeah. And if you use it with entity framework on the backend, it's going to create a table. But we don't need a table in this case.
Okay, I understand. And now is I'm just making an object, or this is just making.
This is a
Oh, I'm
list.
just making a list with items. Okay, I understand now. Yeah,
Do you
I didn't
understand?
understand. Yeah, I didn't understand that private. I was thinking we're like instancing a new object from to the item, but no, we are actually making a list which they're gonna collect all the information we are getting from here.
Yeah.
Is that
And
correct?
on line 4, actually, you're going to iterate through this list and print
This
all
is
the
just to
titles.
show. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is just to show
exactly. It's
the
just to show.
items in the list.
Yeah, exactly. And you have this list as a field in the class because whatever it's between line 10 until to line 12 actually is going to be turned into an object which is going to play the role of the controller for the view which is between line 1 to line 8. So the view is between line 1 up to line 8 and the
Hmm.
controller is from line 10 to line 12.
Yes, I understand.
And be, now because they are coupled, you can use on line 4, for example, the name to-dos because you have defined to-dos in the controller on
Yeah,
line
you don't have
11.
to use view back to transfer information between
Exactly,
controller and
exactly,
view.
exactly.
That's
Change
what you.
to-dos down. Change to-dos down, for example, on line 11. We will bring it back. Just name it George, for example, and you will see that you will get error above
Yeah,
because there is
because it's
no
not
George.
existing.
But change
Yeah.
George instead of
If
to-dos,
I do that, Georgie,
Georgie,
and
and
yeah,
voila, it works.
and it's gonna search in that list. Yes, I
You
understand.
understand?
So
Bring it back.
very
Control
simple
Z,
again. Yes.
Control Z. Okay.
This is
Let's.
back to the basics
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah. It's
loops.
back
Yeah.
to the.
This is very yeah. It's very clear for me now. Yes.
But it's absolutely clear, right?
Yep. Yep. It is, and
Okay.
it's much better than MVC to be honest, because I was suffering sometimes to transfer information between controllers and views, and this is the best way you can straight communicate with your controller, which
Yes.
in that
And
case here.
if you
That
instead of MVC, you you would use, for example, Razer Pages, the philosophy of the Razer Pages is exactly the same, like you see it here. Razer Pages, remember, on the back end, you can use either MVC or Razer Pages. They're interchangeable, right?
yeah. It's true. It's architecture of
It's
improving.
just a question of that architecture. If we created the library with Razer Pages template, you have only one folder which is called Pages, and each page is represented by Razer Page and a model. It's called Razer model for which you can think about the controller. So it's a different structure. You achieve the very same. Do you understand what I'm talking about right now?
Yeah, yeah, I understand clearly. Yes.
So, but you have chosen to use MVC because you were thinking that there is a clear separation. Actually, here you also can see a clear separation because uh, view is from line 1 to 8, and from line
Yeah,
10 to
you're just
13, yeah, exactly, you have
yeah,
the controller.
yeah,
So the controller is, that's it. It doesn't matter they're in the same file. You still have the same logic, the same principle, right?
yeah.
And as I said, Blazor actually allows you to separate the code, the controller, and the view as well, like Razer Pages. So if you're absolutely new in this technology, I would teach you not MVC. I'm going to show you Razer Page because see the similarities between the Razer Page and the Blazor. Razer and Blazor are the same.
They have same structure with
They have the
page.
very same structure. The very same structure.
Yeah,
Okay, let's continue now.
yeah, no problem. So now after we put that to do, the app requires UI elements for adding to the items to the list. Add text input input on the bottom button,
This
which
is
is
pure
very,
HTML.
very easy for us.
Input. Input renders one element. Also, we
Well,
have to pay a little bit attention of the HTML. So my dilemma for today was, do I have to work with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript a little bit with you, or just start with Blazor?
yeah, I think to be honest, when we were doing library management, and I got a lot of things clear from HTML. I mean, I think HTML you may not have to learn only HTML. You may learn it while using another technologies,
Yeah,
and I think it's easy to learn.
very easy. HTML is not even a language, you know that.
Save to the item file and the updated page to the Razer file in the
Hmm.
command shell. The app is automatically reviewed, so I'm gonna save that, and now we're gonna see the changes here probably.
Yeah, click on to do. Sorry.
Nothing.
To do there is nothing on this address.
Okay.
I think we have a problem here somewhere.
I maybe put it in the wrong place. I'm gonna check now.
No, no,
So
no,
this
everything is
is
fine. I mean,
oh,
navigation. There is a problem with the navigation. Um, I know where the problem is, by the way.
yeah.
Look at the first line, page, and after that you have you don't have
Oh
this on your code.
yeah.
Exactly. This you have to tell how to access this element. This
So
is
this
what
is
you're
the
missing.
model. So
Yeah,
this is the model, yeah.
exactly, exactly,
Okay, I
exactly.
understand
Okay,
now.
now it's gonna work. Go back.
Yeah.
Here we go. See,
So
and this happens. All this happens on the front end. It doesn't
and now if I
communicate with the
write
server.
something, it's gonna make it a list.
Up to do, but you don't have the logic. Now,
Yeah,
now,
you just gonna add it.
let me make another analogy right now. Look, in the MVC you have actions, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about the actions, they're in response. They're event handlers of certain events which are happening. For example, you're accessing the website with the method get, or you sending something with the method post, right? Here
Mm-hmm.
you also have actions which the user actually can perform, and you have response. You have to respond to that. So you have to write the event handlers, which handle different events. What is the event? Actually, user is clicking the add to do button, right? So
Yeah.
you have to create an event handler, exactly like in your WinForm application. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
you have to do the same, but you do it in the code, in the controller down.
Yeah,
So
when the button is
if
pressed,
press, do
add
this. Yeah,
add
exactly.
this to the list.
Yeah, add this. Let's continue with the tutorial. You'll see how that
Yep.
happens.
Save the to-do and you're gonna see that's what it does. When the add to-do button is selected, nothing happens because an event handler isn't attached to the button. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's good.
How do you
Add
create events?
to-do method to the to-do component and register the method for the button using on-click attribute. The add to-do C# method is called when the button is selected. So
Look now
I'm
how they link the view and the controller, the event handler. So here we go. On the view, you say on click, and down you define the method, which is the event handler for this.
so I'm replacing this one
Exactly.
and
And you add a
I'm adding
method,
a new method.
exactly, which is the event handler for this event, which happens on the
It's
browser.
not yet. It's not yet, isn't it?
Is not doing anything right now, but
Yeah.
it's a event handler right now. Add to do is a event handler,
Add to do
and
is
you call it from there, from line 12. You
yeah.
say on
So
click, on event
I'm
on
using
click.
on click. I'm adding to this.
No, on click
I'm
equals,
using that method. I'm
yes.
using that.
Use the method add to do, and
So
this is
this
just the
is
name of the button,
attach.
which you have
Yeah, but this
selected right now.
attach. Yeah, is attach. This name is attached. Is subscribe to that click. Yeah.
Uh, yes, exactly. But
Yeah.
what you have selected right now just determines what is written on the button. This comes from the HTML.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree.
And
Yes.
how you attach the event to the event handler happens a little bit earlier on line 12, where you have add on click equals add to do. So whatever is the name which you put after the equal in the braces
Yeah.
is the name of the method which is going to be executed down on line 12, on line
So
19.
it's the other way around.
It's
Yeah.
the other
So
way around.
I was thinking this is the method.
No, this
No,
is
but
not the
this is
method.
the
This is
method.
simply the
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is the name of the
Yeah,
button.
I
Yes.
understood this confusion, so that's why I discussed a little bit further.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I'm glad you see it.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's it's quite simple, right? All the
Yeah. Yeah.
libraries are following this very same pattern.
Yeah, because this is something from the HTML, the way you are like equal to something which I don't quite understand now, but I did. So this is the method you're calling when you press
Yeah.
that button
And you
in
can
this
change the
string.
name of the method. For example, add to do, you can name it, for example, like
Yeah,
George again.
and I have to change it
Yeah,
here
he
as well.
changed it there, and that's it.
Call it.
So do you see the links right now between the controller, the connection
Yes.
between the controller and the methods and everything?
Yeah. 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 It's clear. Yeah.
Mhm. Perfect.
Yeah.
So continue with that.
To get the title of the new to-do item, add a new to-do string field at the top of the code block. So new string.
Okay, they prepare another field here. New to do.
Yeah. So new to-do. Modify the text input element to bind new to-do with the bind attribute.
Look how they bind actually the content of the views with whatever you have defined down in the controller. So they,
It's data bind, isn't it?
yes, a data binding. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna replace the whole method, the whole.
Look, what do you say? Placeholder, blah blah, and after that you say bind. So whatever the user types into the field, you
Is
assign it
bind
directly to the field down to the controller,
to this one.
to
To
this
this.
new to do. See how easy it is.
Yeah. Update the add to do method to add the to do item with the specified title to the list. Clear the value of the text input by setting new to do to an empty string. So this
Yeah,
one.
you just create right now the event handler. Let's discuss it a little bit when you put it.
So we're gonna replace this method.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna
Yeah, like that. Yeah, just bring back the curly braces back. From opening to closing curly brace, just bring it back.
oh yeah, because
This private, you should know. Shift tab. No. Select it now. Select from line 20. Yeah, select it. Ah,
shift and tap.
yeah, like that. And now tap.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, so look what does it say. If string is null or white space, new to do, but it's
Make a new
in
list.
inverse. So it says if the new to do is something, is not empty, then do the following. In the data structure to dos, add new to do item and set the title equals to new to do.
Mm.
And after that, clear up the field. Do you understand that? Just
Or
meditate a
just
little bit.
clear up the field. Ah, string.empty. Yeah.
An empty
Sorry,
the
I
string.
was
So
looking for clear. I
yeah,
was looking for clear.
exactly. When the
Yeah,
user clicks on the add, the element
yeah.
will be
It's
added to
clearing. Yeah, and it's clearing the
the
field
field.
where
Exactly,
you
the element,
enter your.
the input
Yeah.
element. Okay, save it, go back and try. Now you will be able to add elements. Add to do. Okay, add another one, Stoyan.
Enter is not working.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Angular, React, they work the similar way, especially Angular.
Okay.
Mhm.
Save
Continue.
the page file. The app is automatically rebuilt. Yeah. Uh, the title text for each to-do item can be made editable, and a checkbox can help the user keep track of completed items. Add the checkbox input for each to-do item and bind its value to the is done property. Change to-do title to an input element bound to to-do title with bind. So I'm just gonna replace
The
this.
entire library project we could do this way as a single page application
Yeah.
and communicate with the server just by APIs.
Oh, is that correct?
Yeah,
Indentation.
absolutely. For each. Right now, you're just adding another HTML element. That's it. To do
No,
title checkbox bind to
it's
do
done.
is done.
Checkbox is done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you don't have this properties down or field down in the controller, so we have to add it.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
it's not going to do anything. It's
Yeah.
just going to show up, but it's not going to do anything. Try it. Try it.
Yeah.
Up to do.
It's gonna show, but when I press, it's not gonna do nothing because we don't have controller.
Yeah, in the controller, we don't do anything about it. So
Update the H3 header to show a count of the number of to-do items that aren't complete.
yeah, it
Is
shows you
done.
how you can count the elements and how you can communicate with the controller. Controller and the view are in one file, as you can see. That's it.
The completed to-do component pages to-do dot Razer.
Yeah, we done it. We have done it already.
But we don't have controller now for the cleaning the items. Yes.
Um,
So let's say I type here something.
mhm.
Now I can't clean it. I can't. When I press OK, it's showing 0. Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
we don't have a
But
logic. We don't have a
when
logic. So
when
that's
I press here, it's not deleting it. I
no.
can change it, edit it. Yes,
Mhm.
but I can't remove it.
Can you change it? Change it to something. I'm not. I don't. I don't think you will be able to change it to something. Type something else. Oh yeah, you change it. Why don't you add another element and let's see what happens? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
It's not perfect, it's just sample.
Yeah, it's a sample, it works.
Yeah. So this is the next step. In this story you learn how to create a to-do list Blazor, modify, use event handling and data binding in component, use routing in the Blazor app, learn about tooling for ASP.NET Core Blazor. Are we gonna do that or?
No, I think that that's enough for today to make you thinking about it. So
Yeah.
the most important concepts are this application is a front end, so it gets executed on the front end. It has nothing to do with the server. In this case, it has something to do with the server because Microsoft didn't create a WebAssembly immediately. So I told you what happens actually. The logic gets executed on a special server. But if you want to learn more, you know where to start and
I
how to
have to
learn.
just go keeping with the tutorials on
Yeah, you can keep on.
tooling.
You can keep on. As I said, right now you have a lot of things you can do. So you can continue working with .NET and try to become the best in .NET, which I would strongly suggest because we have spent a lot of time. You can learn
Yeah.
another technology. For example, you can start the journey of JavaScript again or Python or whatever, but you have to start from scratch. So probably to
Yeah.
dig deeper into this rabbit hole, .NET. But
Yeah.
in order to become a full stack developer, you have to learn the front end, not only the back end, because the MVC application is kind of a just back end. It's a presentation, yeah, it has something, so it's a full stack, but the modern web development is based on the front end development plus APIs.
Yeah. We built the building, but we didn't paint it.
We didn't paint it, yeah, exactly. So this is the paint right now. We are painting. Right now, another interesting concept is if you go back to the application, go back to the to-do list in the browser, into the browser, yeah. Look on the home, click on the home. Hello world. Go back to the to-do. See, it's empty, but that's not that such a big deal. Go to the counter. Go to the counter. Click me. Click on the button. Click me. Look, it increases the numbers without hitting the server. It's not going back to the server. In this case, it is going back to the server, but I told you why. Because
Yeah.
a little bit JavaScript which opens a socket to the server and the logic happens on the server, but this doesn't supposed to be this way.
Yeah, that's happening for really fast because this is now reloading the what they say they have probably list behind the
Yeah.
and you see
Uh,
you don't even refresh the page
yeah,
and
without
the
refreshing
date.
the page. In order to do that with MVC, think about what you have to do. If you have to do the same thing with MVC, you have to refresh the entire page. You have to send, actually, when you click the button, you have to send the request to the server. The server should calculate the next number and send you back the entire
well,
HTML and everything. Here,
well here it's happening
he,
straight into the page.
exactly, it
Like you
happened.
can write like you can write but I don't know if with C sharp you can do that with Blazor, but maybe on JavaScript you can write entire application on the front end without.
Exactly. This is the reason why the Blazor exists. Because you can write entire application only on the front end and just turn to the server for data. For example, you need something from the database. So you consume a service API, for example, and the list is not generated on the front end, but comes from the server. So your application is separated into two. You have one project, which is a Blazor project, another project, which is API. And the Blazor could communicate with the API. Those are the modern applications. This is the modern way the applications are done.
Yeah.
Fetch data right now. This is the communication between the front end and the back end.
This is the API. This
Yeah,
is the
this is
API.
the API, not even an API. If you look at back into your project, you will find one JSON file. JSON file. Look for JSON. App settings. Where is this JSON file? You will find all this into a JSON file. Go in www. Go in www root. Okay. Open icon side. Blah blah blah. It's a JSON file, I'm sure. No, it's not here. It's in www somewhere. Five icon.
Yeah, but that's only here.
Okay, let's open this page. Okay. Open the folder pages. Open the folder. Let's find this element, which is fetch data Razer. Open fetch data Razer. Okay, let's see which file it's pulling from the server. Uh, yeah, go to the controller.
Get forecast.
Online initializing, get forecast async, daytime now. Forecast is not even here. Go back to the. Actually, it's hitting. What is
Model.
hitting?
It's going to this model forecast service.
Forecast service. Where is forecast service? Await forecast service. Forecast. Await forecast service. Where is this service? Let's find it. Here we go.
It's hard coded. It's hard coded.
Summary.
Oh no, it's not very hard coded.
To array. Data. Yeah, this is exactly the service which is using.
Yeah.
But this thing is on the server. This thing stays on the server.
API version farm order.
Yeah, let's find it. Yeah. Summary.
Get forecast.
Yeah, exactly. Date. Start date, add date, index. After that, the temperature gets randomly created on lines 19 to 21. This is randomly
It's just
generated.
hard code. Yeah, it's just hard coded.
It's
All
just
this
hard
stuff.
coded, exactly.
Yeah, and we don't communicate with any API. We
Actually,
don't have API communication.
actually, this is the communication with the API, I think. Service CS in data, weather forecast service, and weather forecast. Open weather forecast CS. This stays on the server. So you can mix actually the back code, the back-end code, and the front-end code. Open on the left-hand side the weather forecast CS. Here we go.
Yeah,
Here we
model.
go. Here we go. You get the service injected here. The service returns the data, and the weather forecast CS actually offers the get method, which returns the service. This is what I think. Go back there. Where the service gets injected.
That's what I'm trying to see. They don't inject anything.
They should be. Otherwise, the weather forecast.
No, they're just making. No, they use the weather forecast just to make new task. Or they inject it here.
Task weather.
No, they make new weather forecast.
But it's not service.
No, they use it as a model. Yeah, they use it as a class, as a model. They don't use it as a service. Or
okay.
they just or that's what I think. They make a list here.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can try actually. You can try this week and see how it works. But the Blazor could play the role of the front end, Those are the classical, modern classical applications. You have the front end built with Angular, React, Vue, or Blazor, as you can see, and
Yeah,
they communicate.
you're actually what they're doing is they do that weather forecast list, which executing, making random, and they populate all the list up to 5, from 1 to 5. They populate all the list, and with random generated
Yes.
um, numbers, and they just display it there. I mean, if I refresh now, maybe
You just
it's going to be different.
and
Yeah,
you get
it's
the
different.
different
50
temperatures.
degree,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
51
51.
degree,
Exactly.
50
Exactly.
degree. Yeah, it's just random population of that
Mm-hmm,
table,
mm-hmm.
just to show you maybe how you can use API, but this is not real API communication.
Yeah, it is a real API communication, just is not coming from a database or real
Yeah,
data.
it's not coming from the database, it's random
Mm-hmm.
generated data.
So
Yes.
see how it works. Those are the modern applications. Everybody is looking for such thing, for something like that.
Okay.
Okay,
I will.
so I will stop recording right now.